Hey y'all, Silvox here. So today I'm going to be doing an interview with some of the developers over at Ramen VR on their new game called Zenith. Now they've actually given me a copy of this game to give away, so if you guys would like to enter that giveaway, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you exactly how you can do that. So before we actually start talking about Zenith, I want to give a big shout out not only to Ramen VR, the creators of this game, but also all the VR devs out there. I have never in my life had so much interaction with devs. I feel like the communication between players and the developers is so open. It is wonderful. There is so much communication. To all the developers out there, I just want to say thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. I really do. Also, yes, shout out to Ramen VR, the developers of this game that actually contacted me about this. I saw them on Reddit about 2 times in the past couple months with Zenith, and I was like, man, this game looks interesting. I cannot wait to see more about it. I can't wait to learn more about it. And then all of a sudden, just boom, pop up out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, how did you know I was thinking about you? They knew. So Ramen VR, thank y'all very much for this opportunity. Now without further ado, let's talk about Zenith. So the way this interview is going to go down is I've actually sent off a few questions over to the developers. They answered them and sent them back to me. So I'm going to read off my questions and I'm going to read off their answers. All the while I'm going to show you guys some gameplay, some concept art from the game. That way you can kind of get a feel of what it is, what it looks like, what it's going to be. Alright, sound good? Let's do it. So my very first question was, first up, tell me who you are, what is your company, and what have you made so far? This is how they responded. I'm Andy Sin, co-founder at Ramen VR. Lauren and I started Ramen VR because we wanted to build a rich, gorgeous, anime-inspired VR MMORPG. By the way, for those that don't know that, that is virtual reality, massive multiplayer online role-playing game. We were driven to do it because we want to play this game ourselves, and we know others do too. Yet no one has been crazy enough to attempt it. Next up, my question was, tell me about Zenith. What's its story? This is what they had to say. The name of our game is based on the city of Zenith in our world. Zenith is a super advanced technological powerhouse that the elite call their home. Essence is the elemental basis that forms the makeup of all living things. Essence is what powers magic spells, and it can even be harnessed into electricity to power the futuristic settlements in Zenith. Long ago, there was a great war that began when the God King's flagship crashed into the world of Zenith, precipitating the calamity that killed more than half the population in the world. Oh snap. When this happened, the citizens of Zenith used magic to seal off their city, forever causing a rift of distrust and hatred between the people that lived outside and the people within the city of Zenith. Okay, so these people have sealed off their city. You have the people on the inside, the people on the outside. It's causing this hatred, this conflict between them. Okay, alright, I'm digging it. Next up, the question I asked them was, where does this game take place and what time? Past, present, or future? They responded with, Zenith takes place in a futuristic cyberpunk fantasy setting. It is based on a fantasy world with an East Asian flair, as y'all can probably see from some of these pictures. Like, I kind of got that vibe, and I like it. There are advanced technologies in the world of Zenith, but also fantasy elements, like magic and fantastical creatures. Next up, I asked them, what is your role in this game? How is your character significant in this world? This is how they responded. Whatever you want it to be. We want playing Zenith to feel like living there. That means that while there will be some backstory. The main goal is to create a sense of immersion and allow you to forge your own path. The significance of the character will be up to you to decide. I really do like that answer. So many games kind of put you on a linear path where they're like, okay, go here, here, and here. This game, no. Take the hammer, hit the anvil, forge your own path. I like it. Next up, I asked them, what will we be doing in the game? They said it's an MMORPG, so all the things you can expect. Combat, grinding for loot, XP, items, a robust crafting system, social structures like parties, guilds, etc. alongside advanced avatar customization. That final one, I like. Every single MMORPG pretty much has all that stuff. You know, you got combat, grinding, loot, all that. But advanced avatar customization, a way to make yourself unique, that's important to me. Next up, I asked them what the focus will be on. Will it be focused on solo gameplay, multiplayer gameplay? They said since this is an MMORPG, it will be focused on multiplayer. But of course, you can solo most of the content. So if you feel like you want to go off by yourself and do that for a while, you can do it, but the focus will be on multiplayer. Next up, I asked them, who are the enemies in this game? Who are we going to be fighting? This is how they responded. There are natural monsters that you will fight, as well as those that have been mutated or changed by the influx of essence. In addition, minions that were born of the calamity that occurred several years ago. So, we've got natural enemies. You know, think like wolves, bears, stuff like that. I don't know if the bears and the wolves are in there, but that's what I think of whenever I think of natural. Next up, you have the mutated ones. So think of the ones that have been enhanced, changed, forged into something new from the influx of essence. Next up, the minions that were born of the calamity. So, the second that tragedy happened, new creatures are born, new monsters. Next up, I asked them how will our characters gain strength or level up in this game. They said we are not ready to talk about progression yet, but it should feel very familiar to many MMORPGs and action RPG players. So, in my mind, we have to go out, we take down enemies, we get XP, we do quests, something along the lines of that. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Next up, I asked them how are we going to get new loot? How are we going to get new gear? This is how they responded. Killing monsters, completing quests, crafting, and of course, we'll flesh this out a lot more in the coming month. So kind of like most RPGs, you go out, you do a quest, you get a reward, you take down a monster, you get a reward, you take down this rare monster, you get a specific reward, kind of stuff like that is what I'm thinking. So my next question was, does this game feature crossplay? If so, what platforms? They said crossplay will work between all the platforms, Steam VR, PlayStation VR, Oculus, as well as a PC version. So this game is not only in VR, it is also going to be on the desktop. That's cool. That is unique. I like that. Okay. All right. Next up, I asked them if the game is cross-platform, how will it feel different between all the platforms? This is how they responded. The VR versions will feel relatively similar, although things like full hand tracking might be updated to work with the index controllers. This is intentional. I completely understand that, because the index controllers, they are a thing of beauty. So if you're able to actually work with those and get the tracking in the game to work alongside the controllers, go for it. I'm glad they're doing that. Next up, they said the pancake/desktop version of the game, I like that description, will feel completely different from the VR versions. It won't just be a core port, but a different version of the game. However, VR and non-VR players can crossplay. So the game is going to be different from VR to Pancake. I'm specifically going to call it Pancake from now on because that just makes me laugh. But it's going to be different. But we can still crossplay. Next up, I asked them, do you feel like the game will be balanced between the different platforms? They said the balance on the VR versions will be the same. So we're kind of still wondering how it's going to be like, going from VR to Pancake mode. We'll have to see. Next up, I asked them, what can we expect the in-game content to be? So, the stuff at the very end of the game, when you're your highest level, when you're your strongest, what are we going to be doing? This is how they responded. The cornerstone of in-game content will be complex and challenging large-scale raids that will involve a ton of powerful enemies and bosses that players will have to coordinate with to overcome. That was a lot. They continued after that, saying, we're also thinking of implementing dynamic PvE zones, which is player versus environment, where players and AI-driven creatures can move to capture different zones and fight for control of valuable resources and territories that provide bonuses to the victor. Okay, alright. Okay, that's kind of interesting. We'll be able to fight alongside the AIs. Next up, I asked them, will Zenith have a friends list system so you can keep up with other players? They simply replied, yes. I like that. Short and sweet. Can I have friends? Absolutely. That's pretty good. Alright. Next up, I asked them, will there be microtransactions? Now, microtransactions are stuff where, you pay for extra stuff in the game. A lot of games do it with cosmetics. Some games do it with loot boxes. Rec Room has tokens you can pay for. That way you can purchase new items and if you don't want to save up for them, or if you just want them right then. A lot of games do it, so I was really curious to see if they did it. This is what they had to say. Not at launch. If we do implement microtransactions, it will be relative to cosmetic changes. We will never have pay to win. Thank you. A lot of games do that. They can go full on pay to win, and man, it puts you at such a disadvantage. It's really not a cool thing to do. I know some, video games get away with it. They can really make their game go far with pay to win, but the community is never going to be happy with that. A game should be paid for once and be able to play fairly the rest of its time. If you want to add some DLC, that's fine, but don't make a paywall where this person's better because they threw down $30 more. That's not cool. Developers, stop doing that. Zenith developers, Ramen VR, I appreciate you very much, thank you. Next up, I asked them, how many hours of content is the game expected to have? They said about 30 hours for casual players and hundreds of hours for in-game raiders. So if you're going to play the game casually, you're just going to level up every now and then, come back to it, maybe try 1 or 2 in-game raids, about 30 hours. But if you're going to go hard in this game, if you're really going to try to go far, you can keep on going. I like that, that's awesome. It means the game is not going to end too early. And if you can really find a good MMO, you can stick with it. That is the point of an MMO, is to actually have it last. Next up, I asked them, will this game have an in-game economy? So will it have its own currency, like gold, or how Rec Room has tokens? They simply replied, yes. We don't know what that currency is going to be, but it will have one. Next up, I asked Andy, the developer, kind of a personal question. I said, what made you decide to make Zenith? This is how he replied. Both Lauren and I are passionate JRPG, anime, and MMORPG fans. We want to make this game because it's something both of us want to play. That is such a cool answer. It honestly is, because you want to make something that you can enjoy. It's not just for other people. Like if you make food at home for lunch, you're going to make it for yourself to enjoy. If you make food for people that are coming over to your party, you're making it for them, but you're also probably going to be snacking at some point in time. You want to enjoy that too. I'm digging that answer. I like it. Next up, I asked them, what has been your favorite part of the development so far? This is how they responded. Engaging with the community and seeing how much excitement there is already for our game. I'll say one thing, the 2 times I saw this game on Reddit, I was excited. It looked cool, and being able to actually do this kind of interview right here, it's blowing me away. I appreciate it once again, Ramen VR. Thank y'all. So my final question to the developers was this. What is the funniest thing that has happened so far, either in development or in game or while testing? I said we've started using 70s and 80s pop music as our company song. Anita Baker is a persistent favorite one. That's pretty awesome. Like gaming and music, they go hand in hand. Especially whenever you're going to be playing a game a lot. Turn on some jams, just have a good time. That's pretty good. So before this interview ends, I've got a few more things I want to tell you about the game and also about their Discord. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So in order to grow their Discord community in a fun way, they're going to be setting up a referral program that lets players refer users to their Discord in return for some exclusive in-game items that you can only get through these referrals. Items will be ranged from a fancy Zen full dive VR helmet that you can wear in VR. So think of like Sword Art Online where he puts on the helmet, goes into the game, kind of like that. In addition, people will also get a special in-game currency that they can redeem for additional items once Zenith actually launches. Once the game launches, if you referred enough friends, you'll probably get this currency, you'll have your own little shop, you can pick up these items that only you can get because you invited people to the game and you're helping it grow. I think that's got like a really nice incentive to invite more people to the game. They're going to be announcing more details on that soon. People that are interested should go ahead and check out their mailing list, so I'm going to have that down there along with their Discord, all in the description. All these links to check out all their stuff for the game is going to be down there, so if you have any information about it, click the description, all in there. Now, one very, very important question I had to ask them, and this is the final one, was when can players expect to test Zenith? They said right now you can sign up for a limited playtest via our mailing list or Discord right now, so if you want to go ahead and sign up for a chance to test this game out, go down there, check out their mailing list, check out their Discord. That way you can get your hands on it and see what the game's all about. Like I said, it's still in its early stages, but testing out games is always awesome. I've always loved doing that growing up. Especially in VR now. VR is a huge thing. People love people testing out their games. So sign up for it, test it out, let me know what you think. Go ahead and just hit me up on Discord and say, Zenith is all about this. It is this. It plays like this. Let me know exactly what you think. I would love to hear from you guys. So guys, I've got a little bit more information about Ramen VR, about Zenith. I'm going to link that down in the description, but I'm just going to go ahead and briefly read over it so you can kind of get a feel of what these special features are inside of the game. What makes it unique? So first up, Ramen VR is ran by Annie and Lauren. They started this company in 2019, so it's a fairly new company, but they've been working together for 2 years. They've actually made another game called Conjure Strike, which was a finalist for Unity Multiplayer and VR Game of the Year. They say, we believe fun online games can be a life-changing experience that can let players realize their full potential. We're driven by our own belief to create a VR world where you can fulfill your wildest ambitions. I like that. They want VR to be something extraordinary. Now, I want to go ahead and tell you all a few features about Zenith. I'm going to read off the list here and tell you exactly what it has to offer. So it has a dynamic living world. That's what the developers had to say about that. We want your life in Zenith to feel as visceral as your real life. That's why we've invested so much time and energy into crafting the environment to be visually striking and beautiful. I love that. That's just, thank you for the beautiful art. They continue on by saying, we are partnering with Improbable and using Referral OS, the world's most advanced MMORPG platform, which will enable us to create huge dynamic open worlds. In addition to powering huge worlds, the platform will enable previously impossible things in MMORPGs like real physics, complex AI, and landscaping that evolves and is shaped by players and NPCs alike. So, not only is this going to have physics, that's awesome. Physics is not something you see a lot in MMORPGs. It has really good AI, but also the landscape is going to change, not only by you, but also the NPCs. The world is literally going to change. I like that. So with the Referral OS feature, they're also going to have conquerable player settlements, crafting, and customizable player housing. Zenith will also feature a large open world with no loading screens. Woo! Next up, they talk about the classes and character customization. This is what they have to say about that. Play your character exactly as you want. Instead of the typical holy trinity of tank, DPS, and healer, every class in Zenith can become each role, depending on which skills you have equipped. Want to play the role of a paladin or a mage tank? The choice is yours. Customize the way your character looks with a variety of different facial features in-game, and of course, Zenith will feature full-body avatars and animations. Full body? right on. They go on to say even change the way you sound so you can really roleplay who you want to be using voice modulation and filters. So if you wanted to change your voice to be super deep or something super high, you could do it. Don't clip that. Nobody. Next up, they talk about the advanced AI the game has to offer. A fully immersive world must be filled with believable characters and AI. Monsters you face off against in Zenith will dodge, hide, and hunt you in lifelike ways, unlike any MMORPG you've seen before. I kind of like that. That makes me nervous to be walking out in the world, kind of in the forest, and just like all of a sudden I hear some wolves howl, and I just see them behind me kind of creeping up. That makes me a little nervous, but I like it. I like the style. They go on to say, keep your wits about you, and you might be ambushed by wolves on the prowl. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about wolves. And step lightly when you enter your first dungeon. Beasts in the deep have most likely heard your footsteps already, so they know you're there. They hear you coming. They're ready. Lastly, we're going to talk about the streamlined combat system. Combat in Zenith fully leverages the physicality of VR to deliver satisfying gameplay. Pull earth shields out of the ground, suck creatures in by fastballing a gravity well, or simply blast them with ultimate power using chain lightning. Mastering each class will feel like mastering a new sport or martial art. For example, the ranged Essence Mage relies heavily on range throwing and aiming and accuracy, while the melee duelist relies on timing combos. And while we want the game to feel real and immersive, we also want it to be easy to learn. Combat is designed to feel satisfying at all skill levels. So even if you're a complete master at MMOs and play Beat Saber on Expert Plus, or you're just getting into VR and you're still, very scared your controller's gonna go flying, the game should feel good for you and for everybody. So guys, before I end this, I want to go ahead and do the giveaway. So, the developers of the game were kind enough to give me an extra copy of the game to give it to you guys. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is to drop down in the comments and put hashtag Zenith. After that, I want you to tell me exactly what you've enjoyed about this game so far. What do you think it's going to offer? What do you think the coolest feature is going to be? Just tell me what you like about it. I'm going to select a winner in about 1 week. I'll reply to the winner's comment. I'll say you have won. After that, I'm going to need you to either give me your Twitter or your Instagram. I'll message you on there. I'll get your email, and I'll get that key over to you. So y'all, that is going to do it for this video, but before I go, I just want to say thank you very much to Ramen VR for giving me this opportunity. It's not something I typically do, but being able to branch out and do new stuff in VR is what I'm all about, so I appreciate that. Thank y'all very much for the interview. To the people watching this video, thank y'all for checking this out. I hope you're able to sign up for their mailing list, and I hope you're able to get into the playtest. Check it out. If you do, message me on Discord, message me on Twitter, message me on Instagram. Let me know what you think of it. I'm curious to see how the game plays and how it feels in VR. Lastly, do not forget to check out all the stuff in the description down there. There's going to be a ton of stuff you guys can check out. Look into Zenith, look into Ramen VR. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.